Hi, in this today's session, we are going to discuss about DAX functions and DAX operators. First, let's discuss about DAX function. Before going to discuss about the DAX functions, first, we need to learn about what is DAX. DAX stands for DAX Analysis Expression, Data Analysis Expression. DAX is a formula language and is a collection of functions, operators, and constants that can be used in a formula or expression to calculate and return one or more values. DAX is a formula language associated with the data model of Microsoft Excel, Power Pilot, and with Microsoft Power BI. DAX is not a programming language. However, it is a formula language that allows the users to define custom calculations in calculated columns and calculated fields, also known as measures. DAX helps you create new information from the existing data in your data model. DAX formulas enable you to perform DAX modeling, data analysis, and use the results for the reporting and decision making. Next, what are DAX functions? A DAX function is an inbuilt function provided in a DAX language to enable you to perform various actions on the data in the tables in your data model. DAX functions enable you to perform commonly used DAX calculations on the data model. Some of the DAX functions have some names and functionalities as that of the Excel functions, but have been modified to use DAX data types and to work with the tables and columns. As highlighted in the next session, DAX are additional functions that are designed to work with the relational data and perform dynamic aggregations. DAX functions plays an important role in the uses of DAX for data modeling and reporting. Let us discuss about Excel functions versus DAX functions. There are certain similarities between the Excel functions and the DAX functions, and there are certain differences too. Following are the similarities and the differences between the Excel functions and the DAX functions. First, we will learn about the similarities between the Excel functions and the DAX functions. Certain DAX functions have the same name and the same general behavior as Excel functions. DAX has lookup functions that are similar to array and vector lookup functions in Excel. Let's discuss about difference between Excel functions and the DAX functions. DAX functions have been modified to take different type of inputs, and some of the DAX functions might return a different data types. Hence, you need to understand the usage of these functions separately, though they have the same name. And you cannot use a DAX function in an Excel formula or use an Excel function in a DAX formula without the required modifications. Excel functions take a cell reference or a range of cells as a reference. DAX functions never take a cell reference or range of cells as a reference, but instead of taking a column or table as a reference. Excel date and time function returns an integer that represents a date as a serial number. DAX date and time functions return a date and time data type that is a DAX but not an Excel. Excel has no functions that return a table, but some functions can work with arrays. Many of the DAX functions can easily reference complete tables and columns to perform calculations and return a table or a column of values. The ability of DAX add powers to the Power Query, Power View, and the Power BI, where the DAX is used. DAX lookup functions require that a relationship is established between the representative tables. Now, let us discuss about types of DAX functions. There are different types of DAX functions. Firstly, we started with DAX table value functions. In the DAX table value functions, we have three different types of DAX functions. One is DAX filter function, DAX aggregation function, DAX time intelligence functions. And then next we have DAX, date and time functions, and DAX logical functions. Apart from this, we have many types of DAX functions. Let us discuss one by one. DAX table valid functions. Many DAX functions takes tables as input or output tables or do both. These DAX functions are called DAX table value functions because a table can have a single column. DAX table value functions also take DAX table valid functions also take single column as input. We have the following types of DAX table valid functions: DAX aggregate function, DAX filter functions, DAX time intelligent functions. Let us discuss about DAX aggregate functions first. DAX aggregate functions aggregate any expression over the rows of a table and are useful in calculations. There are different type of DAX aggregation functions. Some of them are add columns, average, count, count x, count dark, count blank functions, etc. Then we have DAX filter functions. DAX filter functions return a column or a table or values related to the current row. You can use a DAX filter function to return specific data types, look up values in related tables, and filter by related values. DAX lookup functions work by using tables and relationship between them. DAX filter functions enable you to manipulate the data content to create dynamic calculations. And we have time intelligent functions. Time intelligent functions returns a table of dates or to use a table to calculate an aggregation. These DAX functions help you to create the calculation that supports the need of a business intelligence analysis by enabling you to manipulate data using time periods, including days, month, quarter, year. Next, we have DAX date and time functions. DAX date and time functions are similar to the Excel date and time functions. However, DAX date and time functions are based on date, time, data type of a DAX. Next, we have DAX logical functions. DAX logical functions returns information about values in an expression. For example, DAX2 functions let you know whether an expression that you are evaluating returns a true value. Now we will discuss about the DAX operators and the different type of DAX operators. The DAX analysis expression, the data analysis expression language using operators to create expression that compare values, perform arithmetical calculations, or work with strings. We will discuss different type of DAX operators that are arithmetic and comparison, text to concatenation, and logical. Let's discuss about arithmetical operators. In arithmetical operators, we have plus, minus, multiplication, division, and exponentation. Exponentation is another than division itself. And next we have comparison operators. Comparison operators are equal to, stat equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to. Next we have ampersand. Ampersand is nothing but n symbol which connect two different concatenates, like connects or concatenates two values to product one continuous text value. And we have different type of logical operators. In logical operators we have double ampersand. We already discussed about ampersand, but this is double ampersand. Double ampersand in sets creates an end condition between two expressions that each have a boolean result. Both expressions written true, then the combination of expression also written true. Otherwise, combination returns false. Next, we have a double pipe symbol. Double pipe symbol in the sense it creates OR conditions between the two logical expressions. If either expression returns true, the result is true. Only when the both expressions are false is the result is false. Then we have in. and creates a logical or condition between each row being compared to a table. Table construction syntax uses curly braces.